Hey writers, we're going to be doing our next sentence of the week. So what I need you to do is find our sentence of the week paper. It should be next to you, one of the trays next to you. This is what we're going to fill out for your notes and also what you will be turning into me today for a grade. So, sentence of the week, let's get started. We're going to write some sentences together and then we're going to look at any patterns that we notice so we can figure out how these sentences are built, what the structure is, and what we need to do when following this, the rules for this type of sentence. So if you notice on the side here, it says Miss G, me, Miss G, me. So that means I'm going to write a sentence first, and you're going to write it with me, and then you're going to come up with your own sentence following the same rule and the same structure. So let's just get started. So my first sentence, I'm going to write, if I had $1 million, I would open my own school. If I had $1 million, I would open my own school. I know that sounds kind of lame to some of us, but that's what I would do if I had $1 million. So, what would you do if you had $1 million? That's what you're going to write in the next line here where it says me. So you're going to write, if I had $1 million, and then you finish out that sentence for me. I would what? So tell me what you would do. So if at any point during this video I'm going too fast and you need some time to think, you can always press the pause button. So you know what that looks like, yes? Got those two little bars next to each other. Press pause so you can think, and then when you're ready to go again, press play. But take your time to make your own sentence, and when you're ready, then you can press play. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the next one. So this one starts with the words when I. My sentence is going to be, when I was little, I would sing songs from The Little Mermaid, one of my favorite movies, by the way, into my hairbrush. When I was little, I would sing songs from The Little Mermaid into my hairbrush. So now it's your turn. So you're going to start a sentence off with when I was little. Then tell me something that you did when you were little. So maybe you did the same thing, but maybe you didn't. So what are some things maybe you did when you were little? What did you feel? Then after you finish that sentence out, we'll go on to the next one. So again, if you need some time to think, you can press pause. And then when you're ready to move on, just press play, because I'm going to go on to the next one. We're going to go to before. So I'm going to write, before I leave for school, I walk my dog. George. Before I leave for school, I walk my dog. So now you're going to write your before sentence. Maybe you also walk a dog before you go to school. But maybe there are other things you do before you go to school. And maybe you don't want to write about what you do before school. Maybe you want to say, before I go to soccer practice, or before I eat dinner, or before I play video games. Just give me a sentence that starts with before. If you need some more time, press pause. And then when you're ready, press play. I'm going to go on to the next one. Next one starts with after. My sentence is going to say, after the last bell rings, that 3:46 bell, my students run out of the door. Right, 8th period? After the last bell rings, my students run out of the door. So, give me your after sentence. You can also comment on what you do after the last bell rings or things that you notice other people do. Or it could be after anything. After I eat lunch. After I turn on my phone. Give me any sentence that starts with after, where you would tell me what you do or what other people do. Okay? Again, if you need more time, press pause, and then when you're ready, press play again, because I'm going to move on so that we can start to notice what kind of patterns we see and talk about what this sentence of the week is. So if we look at all the sentences here, they started with very particular words, and they started with those words for a reason. So we have if, when, before, and after. These words start off what we call a dependent clause. So y'all can find a colored pencil or a colored pen to underline this. These are dependent clauses. What that means is they're not sentences on their own. They're dependent on something. They need something else to be a sentence. If I had $1 million is not a sentence. When I was little is not a sentence. But when we combine it with the other part of the sentence, then it becomes a sentence. These are called independent clauses because they're independent. They would be able to be a sentence without the beginning. If I took away this part, whoop, this would still be a sentence. I would open my own school. If I took away this would still be a sentence. I would sing songs from The Little Mermaid into my hairbrush. If I took this away, this is a sentence. I walk my dog. And if I took this away, this would still be a sentence. My students run out of the door. But because I added those dependent clauses to it, it became something that we call a complex sentence. Complex sentence. So we've done simple sentences, we've done compound, and now this is our third type of sentence, complex sentence. So we looked at the two pieces of our sentences. What separates those two pieces? How do I know when the when the dependent clause stops and the independent starts? What kind of punctuation do I have? Oh, I've got these beautiful commas. Very important so you can separate the two thoughts. If I had $1 million, comma, I would open my own school. Before I leave for school, comma, I walk my dog. So that's how we build complex sentences. These 4 words are just 4 of 10 different words that we can start these complex sentences with. So these dashes up here, we're going to eventually spell out this fun acronym. So down here, add to this, complex sentences using Aaawwubbis. Aaawwubbis. Complex sentences using Aaawwubbis. So we used 4 of the letters in here. So up here, let's write down which ones we did. So we had if, that's the second to last one. So write an I here. And then we're going to say this is if. We had when. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 4th one. This is when. We also had before. So let's think about this. Aaawwubbis. Before. And then our last one is after. That's how we start our Aaawwubbis, with after. Okay, so we will fill in the rest of those as we go on. I just wanted to give you all a little piece of it. We've got words like also and although and since. We got lots of other words that we can build complex sentences with, but this is a good start for us. So make sure that you have all of these notes taken, but that you also have finished out these sentences for me. I wanted to see you practice writing these complex sentences. Once you've done that, you're going to travel with this paper because you're going to do some more practice with it, and you'll turn this in at the end of class along with your checklist for the day. Alrighty, if you need to watch this again to help you fill it out, feel free to do that. Rewind, pause. This is your video to help you use all the controls that you need to.